that's very nice. So, not because I don't want to do it, not because it's 150 degrees outside, but because I want to educate Bernie on how to cut LARIMAR. So today we're going to be teaching Bernie how to cut LARIMAR so that he can learn, but also at the same time, I don't have to do it. So as you can see, look, when it's a diamond blade, you can literally touch it. It's not going to cut you. I'm not suggesting that you go and play around and start sticking your finger on the thing, but it's not going to cut you, so that's one of the good things. The one thing you need to worry about when you're cutting with a diamond saw is that you don't get your finger caught, okay? Also get latex gloves. Do you have goggles, glasses? Make sure you wear glasses. I'm like one of those people where I'm like, I don't need the glasses, and then I wind up with a piece of LARIMAR on my eyeball. What I really need to teach him is how do we find the line where you want to cut. Because you can see here that this is really good, this is really good. So we don't want to ruin those lines. So most likely what we're going to do is we're going to cut it this way so we can still see the lines. This is the tricky part while we're waiting for Bernie. Very nice. Boom. Well, now we're just gonna wait for Bernie to come back whenever he decides to come back. So you can see here that the material runs through this way, yeah? Right, you see it runs through that way. So the best way to do this one is which way? Like when you go to cut it, which way are you gonna cut?
This way.
No. So the material is here in the middle, so you wanna cut here in the middle, yeah? This is going to be a little hard to cut that way, so maybe you want to turn it this way so it's lower. That way is higher, this way is lower. So if it's me, I'm going to cut it like this. Either way, you're going to figure it out. And also when you're cutting, you have to go very slow. And at the end, you'll see, watch at the end when I'm cutting it, when it gets closer to the end, you don't want it to break. So you want to do this kind of movement up and down a little bit. Watch, you'll see. I'm going to cut this one. So this piece broke off, nothing to do. It came off. That's gonna happen, especially when there's a lot of matrix, there's nothing connecting the stone. So that's okay that it came off. But you see at the end how I was doing like this? So this way the end doesn't rip. You see that? That's a perfect cut. I mean, we're gonna cut them. If they're really, really small, don't worry. Yeah, there you go, good one. No. So you see the good line is running this way, right? But only if you try to cut there, you're not going to get that line. So you need to cut it this way so that you get all the good lines. You see what I'm saying? So you'll cut it this way. Now try to find the best way to put it on the saw. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Slow, slow, slow. So you see at the end, that's where, you see? This is what we want to avoid. You see that? Okay. All right, yes, one more. Remember at the end, slow. Look, I'll show you one more. Because this is a lot to cut. Okay. You see, that's the good part. So we want to cut here, right? Okay, we're not gonna cut like this. Or maybe we will. No, I wanna cut here. So the hard part is when you get to the end there, right? So you see how like, the hard part is when you get to the end. What you want is that. So one of the other things that I have is some old stock Tiffany stone, which I'd like to cut and see if I can get some nice flat edges on it. So let's just take a couple of pieces of Tiffany stone and see if I can get something good out of it. That one not, so it wasn't so good. You're looking for the purple and the whites, or you're looking for the eggs, which I think this one has an egg in it. So since we're out here with the saw, and we all know that the saw is the law, I have fossilized coral, which is very hard to cut. This is not the right saw for cutting fossilized coral, but this is a piece that I found on the table, and I really want to see what's inside of it. Let's see if I can get through it without destroying it. I mean, it's a 50-50. Dude, that was hard to cut, man. That was really hard to cut. And then look at all the sediment inside of it. This is all just sediment. So let's clean this out. Dude, look how thin, that's why I'm saying it was such a good cut. Look how thin. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. And it stayed together. So a lot of people don't know that about me, but I do have a lot of experience with cutting and polishing. I'm not always out here doing it, but this was a very hard cut. And I'm sure people who are cutting, especially using this DeWalt saw to get through that and it didn't break, I'm really proud of this, actually. I'm not gonna even sell this, or I'm gonna keep this. That was an accomplishment.